Now, a lot of people, maybe some of you watching this now or listening to this on the MP3, you could be very worried about your future right now. You could have been given notice just before Christmas. You may be looking for a job. You may be starting your own business. And for those of you that are starting your own business or who have your own business currently, this is a really important thing that I'm going to discuss with you now, because in previous audios and in previous videos, I've spoken about a couple of things. One was a values elicitation, finding out what you value and being congruent in what you follow. And the other thing I've mentioned is about getting results in advance. Now, we'll come onto this later on in other NLP videos and audios, but getting results in advance is seriously important, because to do that, you have to generate specifically what you want to achieve in your mind. Now, the science and the psychology shows us that if you can create it in your mind, you are part way to achieving it in reality, because the brain creates everything twice, once by a thought and second by an action. Provided you take the action, the thought can become a reality as long as you follow this process. But if you don't know where you're going and you don't know how to do it and you can't have a clear image in your mind, then it becomes really fuzzy. I mean, think about it this way. If you've ever been out on the moors, I mean, if you're ex-military watching this, you'll know about this, because you have to map read and do route marches. You need to be clear on your markers as to where you're going to get you to the end point. You have to break that navigation down. And the more cloudy the weather, the shorter your stops will be, your rendezvous points, your checkpoints, where you'll actually make sure you're in the right position, and you'll take your bearings and coordinates to make sure you're still en route. If you drive a car, much the same thing, although SatNav now has taken over. In business planning, this is critically important. You have to know what you want to earn. And that's just one component of what I want to talk about in this video, or again, if you're listening to this as an audio, this critical point of what do you want to realistically earn. And the phenomenal thing about this is people will limit themselves by what they think they're entitled to earn. And they'll hit that ceiling and won't earn any more. I mean, a couple of years ago, I met with a gentleman, absolutely phenomenally brilliant guy. He'd spent 30 odd years in the military doing various stuff. And he was coming outside and I said, well, how much do you need to earn? He said, oh, I'd like to earn about £24,000 a year. I said, no, what would you like to earn? He said, well, £24,000 would cover the bills and pay for this and pay for that, and I've got my pension, so I'm comfortable. 24,000 would see it. I said, okay. I said, but if you could earn more, what would you like to earn? He said, oh, I'd like to double it. £48,000 was a lot of money to this fella. Now, when I started off in business years ago, I used what I'm going to show you now to help me focus, a laser target focus on what I wanted to earn. And once you hit that target, you can actually increase it, because it's the numbers game. Once you know how to do it, you just up the ante and you produce more. So let's just work this out for you. I mean, let's just say that you're sitting there now and you're thinking, right, I need to earn a certain amount of money to cover my mortgage, to pay the bills, to do whatever. Well, the average wage, I believe, in the United Kingdom now is around £27,000. But being ex-services and not being good with fractions, I'm going to work on round numbers. So if it's okay with you, I'll call it 30 grand. So let's say you want to earn £30,000 a year. That's your goal. Okay? So you want to earn £30,000 a year. If you look at that as a figure, that can be a big figure to a lot of people and can be quite frightening. And by the way, one of the things we'll come on to later on and why people fail is fear of success. They're scared of hitting that because they've been told they can't. Now, you're not going to work every day of the year. You're not going to work every week of the year. You're going to need holidays. You're going to need time off. There'll be times when you have a flat period where no work comes in. So let's just say that you're going to work for 10 months of the year. So you're going to have 2 months off. I know, frightening, okay? So you've got to break this down now, month by month. So we're going to divide this by 10. This will give you a monthly figure of £3,000 that you need to earn per month. So if you earn this is per annum, and this is per month. So to earn £30,000 a year, you need to earn £3,000 per month. That too is quite frightening for a lot of people. But there's 5 weeks in a month on average. So if we break this down per week, and we'll divide this by 5, we can see that our weekly figure is about, what's that, £600. £600 per week, I believe. Yep, I told you I wasn't good at maths. So £3,000 per month divided by 5 is £600 per week. Okay, how are you going to earn, here's the question, how are you going to earn £600 per week? Because if you can earn £600 per week, you can earn £30,000 a year. How are you going to earn £600 per week? Okay, I come from a training background. Let's say, for argument's sake, that I can train 3 people in a week and I charge them £200 each. So I divide that by 3. So I need per person cost of £200 per person on a course per week. So if I can get someone to pay me £200 for a course, and that's going to be your profit, by the way, so you need to add any certification costs and everything else on top of that. And I can get 3 people to pay me £200 per week. I can make £600 per week. Therefore, I make £3,000 per month. I make £30,000 per year. What if you were to actually become a consultant and use your knowledge and skills and actually say, okay, I'm going to offer my services to you as an employer at £600 per day. £600 per day. Now that's not unreasonable when you consider what some people charge, and I've charged a lot more than £600 per day. If you charged yourself out £600 per day, you would technically only need to work 1 day a week for 10 months to earn £30,000 a year. So what if you charged £1,200 per day? Well, that means you'd only need to work 1 day every 2 weeks to earn £600 per week, to earn £3,000 per month, to earn £30,000 per year. Okay, let's look at this another way. Let's look at other things that you can bring in, other strings to your bow. You might be able to write a report. So let's say you write a report, because if you're in business, the one thing I would say to you is, apart from your traditional stuff, what you do, the going out and training people, or the providing a service, whether you're a baker, whether you're a butcher, whether you're a candlestick maker, delivering products, you need to produce information products. Tell people how you do it. You can produce a report, and let's say that report is, you sell it for £10. How many reports have you got to sell to make £200 a week? Well, it's pretty easy. You've got to sell 20. If you sell 20 reports at £10 per report, you'll make £200 per week. And if you do that every week for 10 months, you'd earn £30,000 a year. Now, you can buy a mailing list. You can buy a mailing list of people who are interested in what you do, or you can run a Google AdWords campaign on your report. You can put certain keywords in. This is not hard to learn, and maybe we'll run courses on this, where you can actually target people who are looking for that report. So you might not sell 20, you might sell 200. If you sell 200 reports, and think about this, if you actually target, just working on direct mail advertising, if you like, on the statistics, they reckon that, it'd be about 0.5% to 1%. So if you targeted, let's say 2,000 people, then 1% of that, there's got to be, is it 200? Yeah, probably 200. So you can buy a mailing list, 300 quid, target that, and actually get 200 sales. You can do this on Facebook. You can actually advertise this on Facebook, but it must be of interest to people. Now, you can add this together. You can actually train 3 people a week, charge them £200. You can sell reports at £10 a head, and you can sell other products too. Maybe the training resources you use, you could sell. People will pay anywhere between £500 to £2,500 for training resources. Now, depending how good your training resources are and how valuable they're perceived in the marketplace, if you sold it, let's say for £2,000, well, to make £30,000, you've only got to sell 25 of those packs. So when you get down to the numbers, this is not hard. So what do you really want to earn? Where do you really want to go with this? Because £30,000 a year is extremely achievable, because it's basically 3 people at £200 per week paying you to train them if you're a trainer. If you're a shop, you need to sell £200 worth of goods or make £200 worth of profit 3 times per week, so £600 per week. Okay, so you either sell lots of stuff at low cost, or you add value. You could also sell stuff at low cost with the option of buying another product once they've tested your market later on. So you revalidate, you come back to your customer and your client, and you say, look, you bought this, you must have been interested, I have this. So you get an additional sale. It's called upselling. So this is not hard. But the interesting thing is, when I started doing this years ago, I wanted to earn around about that figure. I wanted to earn that, and I figured out I had to make £3,000 a month. That was quite frightening for me, £3,000 a month. That was nearly 3 times the salary I was getting. And I thought, how do you do that? It's achievable. I've done it. I won't tell you what I do now, but it's really, really achievable. Because when you break it down, you're looking at earning £600 per week. I mean, come on, how much stuff have you got in your house that if you sold it, you'd earn £600 a week? I mean, most of us have got stuff here we don't even need. It's different routes to earning this. Like I said, 3 people paying you £200 per week for a course is £600 per week. Do that every week for 10 months, £30,000 a year. You can produce a report for £10, sell 20 reports a week. You've got £200, okay? Do that, train 2 people, you've got £600. Or if you want, sell 60 reports a week, you've got £600, 60 reports a week. You should be selling thousands of these things. And nowadays it's so easy with PayPal. You can set up a PayPal account, advertise it on all your social media sites, you can set up a website for nothing these days, and you can earn this. And think about this, never before in the history of our society has it been easier for people to earn money if you change your mindset. If you want to start a business years ago, you'd have had to hire premises, buy stock the shelves, heating, lighting, gas, council tax rates, paying staff, sickness benefits, all the other things. Before you sell stuff, you've got to cover all those costs. Now, with a laptop, maybe a microphone, you've got MS Word on there, or you've got some word processing document, you can write a report, you can turn it into a PDF, you can go onto a website called Fiverr, Fiverr, and you can get covers made for your PDF books for $5. $5. And you can do this. It's dead easy. So chunk things down. And when you chunk things down, everything becomes achievable. But just think about this before you go. When it comes to selling, when it comes to making money, everything is about relationships. And one of the questions I was asked the other day was, yeah, but it's so competitive out there now, Mark, you've got to cut your prices down and keep it cheap. That is an absolute myth. If everything was about cheapest price, we'd all be walking around the cheapest shoes, we'd all be wearing the cheapest clothes, and we'd all be driving the cheapest cars. It's not about price. Some of you out there, when you go and buy stuff, you buy good quality products because it's about the quality of what you want, not the price. You pay for the quality. And quality is actually achieved by placing your perception in the marketplace, by adding value to what someone wants. So someone will they'll pay £2,500 for a Rolex watch when they can buy a Swatch watch for 10 quid. They'll pay £2,500 for it. Both things do the same thing, they tell the time. One is made to a much higher quality, gives a different perception to the person wearing it, so they will happily pay £2,500, or some Rolex watches up to £30,000, £40,000. They will do that because of what it gives them. Don't get caught in the stack it high and sell it cheap syndrome. You can add value to your product, and you can charge more for what you do, providing, of course, that the perception you create lives up to the quality that you deliver. Remember that. The perception you create must live up to the quality that you deliver. But if you had to do this, if you had to go out and earn £600 a week, you could easily do that if you had to. If your life depended on it, you could do it. When I first started, when I left the Navy and I came out of that insular environment where everything was found for me, I had no money and I had to go knocking door to door selling insurance. And I had to earn a certain amount of money per week. And what I did was I knocked on doors until I got the amount of sales I needed to cover what I needed to hit that day. And I kept going until I did it. And if I didn't hit it that day, I would start earlier the next morning and I would finish late, and I would double the next day. And I would keep on doing that until my weekly target had been hit by making sure my daily target was hit. And I kept on doing it, and I kept on doing it. And in my first year of doing door-to-door sales, having never done this before, back in 1988, I earned £27,000, which is the minimum wage today, which is a lot of money back in 1988. And by applying this process to everything I do, we've gone far beyond that now, and it took me from £27,000 as a door-to-door insurance salesman to earning at 6-figure incomes selling computers, because I did exactly the same thing. All the rest of it, all the marketing stuff you can learn, but you must have a process. Okay, I hope that's helped. And if you're watching this, thank you ever so much. If you're listening to this on an audio, I'll see you on the next one. Thanks ever so much.